Cryptos, boy, isn't that a buzzword today? So much action in the last couple of days, including Elon Musk saying because of environmental concerns, he's not going to be using Bitcoin, and suddenly turned bearish. If you go on many crypto blogs, he's being heavily criticized for that as well, saying, did he just wake up to the fact that Bitcoins use so much energy and therefore not good for the planet? You've seen wild swings. You've seen a massive crash in cryptos. Dogecoins, which was also in a sell-off mode after Elon Musk called it a hustle, has retreated since then. And I'm going to be discussing all of this on Cryptos and More with Ray Wang, who's joining us all the way from Silicon Valley, waking up early as always to be a part of the live broadcast, which we always appreciate. Ray, welcome to Startup Central. Let's just start with what we've seen in the last couple of days, the wild swings that we've seen. How is one supposed to make sense of this?
There's massive volatility in crypto. There's always been massive volatility in crypto. But what we're seeing right now is really a couple factors. One is trying to make sense of the interest rates and interest rate situation in the U.S. There is a rotation to reflation stocks. And for a little bit, there was crypto FOMO. People felt that they were missing out and people were jumping in. So I think that's contributed to all this. And then, of course, when Elon Musk gets on television, that always changes things as well as when it makes public statements about different coins from Dogecoin to what's going on, of course, with Bitcoin.
So, we, of course, have either seen or read about the Saturday Night Live episode where he did talk about Dogecoin at one point being a side hustle, and at the same time has also called it the people's currency. But after that, what we've seen is the Elon Musk hardline when it comes to energy consumption and Bitcoins. He couldn't have possibly just woken up to that fact, right? So if you go on other crypto blogs, he's been criticized for that. There are others who believe that maybe it's the authorities who aren't happy, that they're okay with Bitcoin being an asset class, but not a currency.
There is a lot of fear about Bitcoin being a currency instead of an asset class. It's sitting at the edge, participating as an asset class, not as a currency today. Most of it is, we've got a lot of issues, especially with the ransomware attack that occurred on a U.S. pipeline called the Colonial Pipeline. The ransom terrorists, or what do you want to call, were paid $4 million allegedly in terms of the ransom to free, and most ransomware is being paid out in Bitcoin, and people believe that is actually going to be an area where thieves, the dark world, pirates and everyone else are going to transact in terms of the currency. So that's part one. Part two is also the fact that there's a war on the U.S. dollar in terms of the dollar being the reserve currency. Russia, China, they've been doing heavily mining in crypto to be able to play in that game. And so that's also one part of this as well. And then, of course, the last piece, that the cost of the mining has always been very expensive. You can't just wake up and realize that, oh, wait, this is really expensive to use this much compute power for mining. And so I think that was bad for the Tesla reputation. And so I think that's why Elon jumped in there. There might be some authorities involved in there, but I think there's some bigger factors that are out there as well.
So, we did see the Bitcoin crash more than 10% after Elon Musk called the energy consumption as insane. Pardon me for the way I'm phrasing my sentence. We've also seen Elon Musk, in a day or two change his mind. He did that with the Dogecoin, didn't he? On Saturday Night Live, called it a hustle. 2 days later, we saw the kind of tweets that we did, whether it should be accepted, and that had helped the price retreat.
Yeah, we definitely did see that, right? Dogecoin, if I remember, it's sitting at about 54 cents now, and Bitcoin sitting at about somewhere a little bit above 50,000 per coin. There's some stability that's come back, and I believe that not accepting Bitcoin for payments for Teslas was probably the right thing to do. But I believe Elon Musk, and I think a good number of folks, are also looking for a decentralized currency over time. Now, what could be a very interesting idea is to take something that already is funded, that actually is, a finite number or finite unit that's tied or pegged back to a certain currency or exchange rate, and turn that into a coin. So, for example, you could take airline miles, which are funded a penny per mile, and redeemed at 1.6 cents per mile, and sometimes 5 cents if you buy magazines, 8 cents if you decide to buy like jewelry or electronics, and you could cryptocurrency that. And by turning an airline mile to a cryptocurrency, you'd actually have a fiat currency, tax-free border and value exchange that occurs, to as many as 1 billion plus people, right? So things like that are going to merge over time. And of course, smart contracts are also going to merge over time. But right now, the conversation around cryptocurrencies is just a small part of the larger blockchain world that's happening out there.
Absolutely. I'm going to get into all of that. But, my final question as far as the series of Elon Musk tweets go, they often say that, and that firm belief is that actions speak louder than words. So while we've seen that tweet and the insane energy consumption and how Tesla is going to stop accepting Bitcoins, we still don't know if any cars were bought using Bitcoins. And secondly, there has been no update or any disclosure made on the $1.5 billion of Bitcoins that Tesla owns. It's not like it's liquidated or monetized or disclosed that as yet.
No, but some of it was sold in the last quarter. 10% of it was taken off the table, I believe, to take some profits off of Bitcoin. There are some concerns about Bitcoin being an energy hog in terms of what's being used. But I think there's been arguments about how to actually turn that into an advantage, where coins are being mined, especially if you're mining in areas around waterfalls or geothermal. You have an opportunity to actually use that funds and proceeds to actually go develop those areas which might not have been developed in the past, and actually reduce that footprint. So I think people are thinking about different ways to make mining a lot more environmentally sustainable. But at the moment, you've got coal-fired plants in China mining Bitcoins. That doesn't help. So.
What about Ethereum? When you look at that crypto, does it take as much energy?
For which one again? Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Ethereum.
Oh, Ethereum, yeah. So Ethereum's different, right? You're not using, the reason Bitcoin is expensive and energy exhaustive is because you're using compute power, and it's a fixed number of coins, right? You've got something like 29 billion coins that are fixed, right? 10 million coins, sorry, that are fixed. And that basically means you have to mine, and as you get to each additional coin, you use even more processing to get to that coin. And so that's why Ethereum, Ripple, if you're looking at other coins like Cardano, those aren't going to use a lot of energy to be mined, and the mining process isn't the fixed element that creates a finite set of coins. So.
I also came to Ethereum for a different reason, which was the fact that we had the co-founder, actually donate almost $1.5 billion worth of cryptos to an India COVID-19 relief fund. How would you read that? Now, this is a country which is so massive and has not legitimized cryptos. In fact, the chatter is that the government is not in favor of it. It's going to come out with a bill in parliament which may ban cryptos and initially would only allow a sovereign-backed crypto. So why would someone do that? Is it genuinely philanthropic in nature, or, I'm sure there may be some conspiracy chatter.
A lot of folks that have made money on Bitcoin have, made donations. They've purchased items. They've started companies with that cash. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I don't know what someone's motives are behind that. But I do see that a number of, cryptocurrencies built for sovereigns, like you look at the digital yuan in China, you've seen like the work that Canada's done on their cryptocurrencies, right? Those are actually coming out at some point. There might be a US dollar crypto at some point, but sovereign-backed cryptocurrencies are very different than alternative asset classes like Bitcoin, which people can use or cash out of. What's the challenge with the sovereign-backed currencies is that they can print infinite amounts of money. And that's what makes Bitcoin so attractive, is the fact that it's got a finite number of 20-some million coins, and that's it. And once you're done, that's it. It's like there's no more reserves. It's not going to change. And that's why if you're putting that into reserve assets or you're making that part of your portfolio, you look at, do I put my money into cash? Do I put my money into gold? Or do I put my money into Bitcoin? And so far, Bitcoin is outperforming those other reserve asset classes.
Okay. Now, if I could ask you a little bit about Dogecoin. Started off as a joke, and now just look at the market capitalization. Yes, it's not even worth $1, but look at the market cap of Dogecoin. Now you have Coinbase, for example, talking about listing it as well so that it doesn't lose traffic, it doesn't lose customers. Would you believe that the future is in these kind of cryptos? That maybe Bitcoin has peaked out. Ethereum is, of course, still continuing to get a lot of traction, but that's also because of the NFTs and what we're seeing on that front.
There's still a lot of interesting room here. I think part of it is the fact that governments around the world are printing trillions of dollars of currency, and the market's actually responding in different ways with NFTs and Dogecoin and Shiru Ibu coins. I think that's hot at the moment. That's the counter to Dogecoin. We call it Dodgy coin because it's dodgy sometimes. But also you see that the market towards Ethereum and Ripple and other coins are there. You have to understand there's differences, right? Bitcoin is a finite amount. These other coins are based on smart contracts, NFTs, really on blockchain technology to create some kind of exchange mechanism in terms of value exchange. People are buying into them over time, and then you got things that are meme coins that actually have no value on the other end, but everybody decided to rush in, like Dogecoin and the Shiru Ibu coin. Those are very, very different. Those that are backed behind smart contracts will probably get some level of traction because companies that want to do business with each other, individuals that want to do business with each other, need an intermediary to actually do the value exchange.
No, in fact, it was the Shibuya coins that cryptos that we saw the Ethereum founder actually sell to try and donate to the India COVID-19 fund. I'm going to take final comments from you. So you think there is headroom available, and this is all at a time when we're still not seeing one country fully legitimize any of these cryptos as a currency?
There's still headroom on these cryptocurrencies. We're at the very, very early innings of where cryptocurrencies play a role. Some countries may outlaw these, may continue to blacklist these coins. For example, Binance Coin has outlawed in so many countries, or accounts have been closed or shut down. There are a lot of scams here. You have to be careful. There's a lot of black market activity that's going on as well. So it's the wild west of cryptocurrencies at the moment. At some point, there'll be some regulations around the world around how cryptocurrencies works. Monetary authorities will definitely want to step in, but we're going to see, some of these early coins might actually turn out to be interesting investments. Some of them may be like pure speculation, and some people will go completely bankrupt. So everything here is at risk.
Okay, everything is always at risk, isn't it? Irrespective of whichever asset class. But given the kind of liquidity that we're also seeing, there's only one way all asset classes are headed, and that's up. Look at the US inflation data also that had come out. Global inflation, something we all have to worry about. And of course, asset appreciation. Ray, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us live.
Thank you. Wishing everybody health and safety.